We have Roopal Kewaliya with us, who is going to talk on about the topic of storytelling for creatives. And it's been one of the most awaited and highly responded masterclasses ever so far. I would like to quickly introduce you all to Roopal, and then I have a couple of requests as well. So to begin with, Roopal is an Indian screenwriter who is passionate about creating young, adult, and women-centric content across formats and is best known for her work on the supernatural Netflix original series called as Tooth Pari, produced by Endemol, starring Tanya Maniktala and Shantanu Maheshwari. She studied film direction at the National Institute of Design, NID Ahmedabad. Roopal has also written for numerous successfully running shows on Channel V, Epic, and Sony Entertainment Television, among others. Her debut children and fiction novel, 39, The Little Rainmaker, was published by Penguin Random India and has been shortlisted among the top 20 in the world children and 39 fiction competition in London 2016. In 2019, Roopal headed content development at Cool Kanya, a digital technology platform dedicated towards helping women navigate their careers. Roopal's feature screenplay Tigadi was invited for NDFC Screenwriters Lab. Her short film, The Flyman, received the Best Foreign Language Film at the Boston International Kids Film Festival 2021. And she's also the founder of Cornucopia Pictures, a production house focused on creating stories and cinema for children. Let's welcome Roopal with a warm round of applause. Welcome, Roopal. And just a couple of requests to everyone that please keep your cameras on and keep yourself muted and make the most of it. Over to you, Roopal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That sounded like a very long bio. Itna kuch hai nahi. I'm a writer. I'm a filmmaker. And now I've just started a production house, which is at its very early stages. So not much into that. But yes, I'm very proud of whatever I have done. And hopefully you'll be able to get a lot out of this workshop today. Like Pooja said, one request, please keep your videos on because it's very disconcerting to talk to a blank digital wall. I wish we were doing this in person, so it would have been more fun because my workshops tend to be very interactive. I would love you all to participate in this. That's the best, I want you to get the most out of it. And I have designed it in a way where we will do quick hands-on exercises because I don't know what you're expecting from this, but I want you to take away confidence in sort of any kind of storytelling that you want to start, whether it's for your personal blog, whether it's for a brand you're going to be working on, whether it's going to anything. I want you to look at storytelling as something which is familiar, something you can start with. And it's when you proceed into the workshop, you will realize that mostly it's about asking questions. And what I want to enable you to do is ask the right questions. That's all. Right? And if you have, please keep notebooks and pens because I'm going to make you write, make you think a lot. And do not be intimidated by this. This is fun. Also, the best thing is we will never see each other again. I mean, hopefully we do, but I'm just saying that हम इतने सारे लोग हैं, एक दूसरे को ज़्यादा मिलने नहीं वाले. So there's no embarrassment, no shame. Please present your work to me, share your ideas with me. That way we all can get the best out of it. Are you guys okay with that? Yeah, awesome. Okay, I see some thumbs up. जिनके videos on नहीं हैं, I'm requesting again, please keep it on. बहुत सारों के अभी off हैं. It just seems like I'm speaking to blank walls, and that's very, very मजा नहीं आता फिर उसमें. ठीक है, and I'll keep asking the same people then to speak. Okay, so let's begin. I'm sorry. I wish I would have had the chance to get an introduction from all of you, but there are a lot of people right now. So that will take a long time, and maybe we can connect after the workshop on LinkedIn or whatever, right? Feel free to ask questions after the workshop as well. So I will just share my screen, and normally मैं ये presentation वगैरह नहीं बनाती हूँ, but just for Miami Ed School, I have done this. Can you see this? Hands-on workshop on storytelling. Okay, great.
Yep.
So now we'll keep, like I said, videos on and mute for now. But when I ask you to speak, feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead with it. Okay. Okay. So I will divide this. Let me go back and we discuss it. I'll divide this workshop into 3 parts. The first will be broadly about storytelling and how to tell a story, because I strongly believe once you get the basics right, it doesn't matter which format you're going for, which medium you're going for. You have, once you get your storytelling basics right, आप कहीं भी कहीं पे कुछ भी लिख सकते हो, right? So I will cover that in detail. Part 2 of the workshop will be about brand storytelling. Whatever we've learned in part 1 about storytelling, we'll apply that to brand storytelling. And part 3 will be about digital marketing, digital storytelling, because that is something so relevant for all of us in this day and age. So we'll focus on that. And the last section, which will be the last half an hour of the workshop, we will keep for question and answer, which you can directly ask. So whatever questions you have, keep them for the end, unless they're directly, specifically related to what we are talking about. Okay, here we go. So we'll start with the very first section on how to tell a story. Now, everybody obviously understands that we begin with the idea. Without an idea, there is no story to tell. But a lot of times, the question that I get asked is, idea aata kahan se? A lot of people get stuck there. If you have been given a brief, it's easier to work on something. But if you have to pull something out of your hat, it's very difficult for a lot of people to just imagine, where should I begin? And that is where so many people get stuck. So the best way to begin is, of course, memory and experience, something that's happened with you and something that's affected you so deeply in a good way, bad way, in whatever way. Anything that has inspired any emotion in you is a great point to start telling a story. The next, of course, is observation. With what we see around us, what is happening around us. We see other people's stories. Sometimes our lives seem boring to us, right? But when we see a neighbor's story, a friend's story, or someone else around us, our parents maybe, and we think, okay, their lives are far more interesting. So that is a great place to start an idea for a story, right? Observing others. The third is questioning. Whenever we see something around us, and zahir si baat hai, every time we see something around us happening, the first thing, why is this happening? Or why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to someone else? Or what is happening around the world right now? That comes as a part of questioning. You're either questioning the system, you're questioning authorities. So let's say if it's a story set in a school, a child may be asking, oh, why can't they have elections for deciding who is the head girl or the head boy? Right? Why are the teachers deciding? And that could be a very fantastic story of this child who wants to be the head, but has no access to, like it's an average child and they want to be the head girl or the next head boy in the school. And that's their journey, right? So that's questioning. And of course, the last part is imagining, right? Any kind of fantasy stories that you see are imagination. Like what fantasy world? Science fiction is imagination. Take the same story. What if this child who was in a school belongs to planet Mars? What is the kind of school system there? What is happening in a country far away from here, which you know nothing about? Or 50 years from now, or 50 years ago, right? All of that is imagination. You're setting the world in a completely different space. More often than not, we use all of these things to start an idea. It's never always only memory or experience. It's also memory, it's also observation, it's questioning, and it's imagining, right? So that's where you begin your idea. So next time you're sitting down to write a story, that is where you start. Go deep into yourself, ask yourselves questions on what has affected you. We'll go deeper into it in the next part. The next section is questions. When you're writing a story, you just have to answer 5 basic questions. It's very simple. Who is the story about? Who is your protagonist? Who are the characters in the story? Right? Basically, you're deciding the world of your story. कौन है ये लोग? इनके बारे में हम क्या जानते हैं? What do we know about them? Right? And we starting from there. Who is the person? What do they want? The most important question in any story is, what do your characters want? Take any film around you. After this workshop, what you can do is take any film, any series, whatever is your favorite series, go back to it just to see what you like about the storytelling in that, and see who is the main character. what do they want from this? By the end of the series, what does the protagonist want, or the other characters around the protagonist want, right? And it will answer a lot of questions, because the moment you know what you want, you achieve the how of it. You can start plotting the how, right? How does the character want what it wants? What is the conflict of the story? क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या है? स्टोरी तो तभी आएगी ना जब कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गया. अगर मैं कहूँ मुझे हेड गर्ल बनना है स्कूल में, और कल मैं खड़ी हुई और मैं हेड गर्ल बन गई, तो उसमें कहानी नहीं है, राइट? कहानी विल हैपन व्हेन देयर इज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, that I cannot get what I want because I'm an average student. The teachers do not look at me. The students don't care about me. And if I were never to open my mouth, nobody in my school would know me. And now something big has happened in my life where I want to prove to everyone else. Another bully in the school insulted me, and now I want to prove to this person that I want to be the head girl or head boy in the school. So that is the conflict. Now, what will stop this child from becoming the head girl and head boy? That's conflict. So you start plotting the how the moment you know what your character wants. And of course, where and when. That places your character in a certain time. If you're placing the character in the time of, say, India's independence, right? Just before India's independence, there's a school. What is the time that like, and how does that affect your story? Or is it in current times? If it's in current times, the social media become an important part, because that's something so relevant. The child is using phones to mobilize support, right? Any kind of platforms, or promoting himself on social media, whatever. I'm just saying you to place the context of the story. Where is the story happening? Then, of course, the next part is the structure of the story, which is the beginning, middle, and end, right? Where does the story begin? At what point in that character's life does the story begin? It could be the middle. It doesn't have to be. Maybe the story starts with this child being bullied, which is, say, a little later than the beginning part of it, and then we come back to the beginning. But what is the beginning of your story? What is the end of your story? And then, of course, the middle. And the point of view. The most important thing in a story is who is telling the story. The same story of this child becoming the head girl or head boy can be told by maybe the child's teacher. She's the narrator of the story, and she's watching from outside all of these games happening. She could be the teller of the story. If she's telling, then what kind of voice will the story have? If the child is the first person narrator, right? If the child is, say, 16, 17 years old, then you get into their head and their mind, and then you decide what kind of story are they telling? What does their voice sound like? So the point of view of the story is very, very important. I'll go into just explaining what I meant when I said idea. So when we said, I don't know if you've seen these shows on your OTT platforms, but they explain very well what I was talking about. So Panchayat, the show that's become so popular, actually the writer of the show has lived in a village, and this is pretty much all the characters in the world are coming from his own world, right? So that comes from memory and experience. So they had this idea, okay, everything is so dark and gory on OTT. Let me write something very simple. Let me go back to my roots and write something which I am very familiar of, which, by the way, is a very key thing in storytelling, to know your subject. If your subject is yourself, then you need to know yourself very well, which a lot of people don't. We think we know ourselves, but a lot of times we surprise ourselves. So it's a very important exercise to always continue to know yourself, to continue to know the people's stories that you're talking about. So in this case, in Panchayat, the writer knew about this world. It was a very familiar world. So you're writing from a very familiar place. Next is, of course, observation, made in heaven. I'm assuming a lot of you would have, at least if you haven't seen it, you know about the show. So it brings out, every episode brings out a kind of a different marriage, or a wedding, not a marriage, and how it pans out, right? It literally brings out social evils that surround the idea of marriage. If I talk like that, it sounds like a very boring thing. Evils of marriage in Indian society, right? It sounds like a freaking documentary thing. But when you actually watch the show, how they've dramatized it in the fiction. So it's observation. We don't have to, none of the creators were actually married, right? Zoya and Rima are not married, but they have observed what is happening around them. And they have created a show entirely on that. The third one is questioning. Trial by Fire is based on the Upahar cinema tragedy that happened many years ago, back when I was in school, actually. and it has now been, the case is still going on, and they decided to make a show on this. So it's questioning the system, it's questioning society, it's questioning why it happened, why that incident happened and what happened after that. So the entire show has been built around, which will make you question, and it in itself, the position of the show is questioning. Now, Tooth Pari on Netflix, which I have also been a part of as a dialogue writer, is set in a vampire world. It's a very interesting, first of its kind vampire show set in India. It's set in Kolkata, actually. And it's a very brilliant take on the lives of vampires. Niche ka world and Upar ka world has been created in this. And that is purely an exercise in imagination. What are these characters like? Each vampire that the director created, we had to write, figure out dialogues. How are they speaking? So one character was an 18th century courtesan. So as a dialogue writer, I had to figure out a way which made, and she's a very sexually forward, obviously courtesan hai, so it's very much in her power, sexual power. And she has to speak in a raunchy way, but not something that will sound dirty. She has to speak in Urdu, but not something that will alienate current viewers. And she has to be funny. She's also a very funny, her sense of humor is on point. So the role was played by Tilottama Shom, and we had to write dialogues for her. Then there's another, vampire who belongs to, say, around 1930s, 1940s, and he's been around Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose and all of these people. So he talks of that time. So each character's dialogue was defined by the time that they were in, and we were talking about multiple timelines in this one show, which is actually contemporary, set in contemporary India. So yeah, these were pretty much examples of how to go about finding an idea. The next one is question. Like I said, who, protagonist of the story, what do the characters want, where and when, where is the story taking place, how, when you figure what, the how follows, which is also the conflict. And I want you to do a tiny little exercise here, right? Can you have videos on, all of you? And if you have a notebook and a pen in front of you, I would like you to, I'll just stop sharing 1 second so I can see more of you. Yeah. Now imagine you are the protagonist of a story that you are going to tell, right? It's you, whoever you are, whatever your age is, your name. And I want you to answer this question. Who is the protagonist, right? What does this protagonist want? Which means, what do you want? What is the conflict in stopping you? What is stopping you from getting what you want? I'll give you around 5 minutes, maybe. 5 should be enough. It's 11:22, around 11:30. I'll give you 8 minutes to quickly do this exercise. What do you want? What is stopping you from getting it? And how do you intend to get it? It's literally I'm giving you life skills here. It's more than storytelling. So please write, and whoever's ready, raise your hand. Please feel free to share. And there's no judgment here. Like I said, we are not going to see each other at all after this. आप बोल के गुमनामी में चले जाओगे. I hope everyone's writing, even those who have their cameras off. Please write and share. That way you will get the most out of this workshop.
On the camera, I'm actually traveling.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a question before I proceed. So I'm a non-fiction writer. So I write on urban and environmental issues, social and environmental impact. So in that way, how would you define that who the protagonist is?
Okay. So this question I will take at the end of the session in the last half an hour.
Okay.
Because this is a very generic question. And it's specific to you. So we'll come back to it in the last half an hour. But for now, I would really request, just do this exercise. You will be able to understand how to apply it to nonfiction as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
No problem. So traveling is the only reason you can switch off your camera. But please, yeah, so many of them are still not on. Let me see your pretty faces. Just raise your hand once you're done. Very basic. Don't write a lengthy essay type thing, okay? You are also free to do this exercise, by the way. Just saying. It's fun. Pooja, do it. Let's hear you start.
Hi, Roopal. This is Nishma. I just came up with two stuffs, two different scenarios. Yeah.
Sorry, who's that?
Nishma. I've just raised my hand. Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me find you. Is your camera on?
Yeah, yeah. I've just raised my hand. Yeah.
Acha, why can't I see you? 1 second. Oh, okay. Sorry, you are at the top left corner of my screen. Nishma. Okay. Sorry. You want to lead?
Yeah. It's just two
Yeah.
random things.
Yes.
It's on two different lives that I'm juggling with.
Okay.
So I think it could be an interesting stuff. One is the corporate majdoori life. Okay,
Okay.
so protagonist can be that. As a woman, we know we go through a lot of different bullshit, corporate bullshit stuff which stops you from growing. The male attitude egos which want to pull you down. So
Yeah.
what is like who is the female majdoor? Okay, what is what you want is more like a more equal platform,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. And how is probably some solutions or the how we overcome, so somewhere that around that. The second world of mine is the hobby world, where who is like a travel freak. Okay,
Okay.
who wants to keep traveling and do travel blogging but
Yeah.
gets stuck because of the corporate job.
Okay. Okay. So,
And how do you intend to do it? How you find ways to sneak out, or some way to just balance these two worlds. So
right.
yeah,
Okay. Great. And in the corporate world, what's stopping you from getting an equal life?
it's basically the it's like still you see male dominated world. It's like you are at a senior position, and definitely the male employees find it difficult to take orders or
Okay.
things from a woman employee, a woman manager. So
Right. So
that's
I
some.
love this. See, I love this story. There's a woman who's living a dual life. 5 days a week, she's a corporate slave, and 2 days of the weekend, she just goes all out and travels until suddenly her life shakes up. Some big thing happens, and she's forced to decide whether I want to continue with my corporate life or go chase my dream. That's a film story right there, right? It was so easy for you to crack into that. Like, of course, as a one-liner. I think Rishikesh is there. Great job, Nishma. We'll come back to you. Rishikesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, who is the protagonist? His name is Rishikesh, age 25. He's an artist with no ambitions. Like he have a lot of aims in life, but let's like with no ambition that this is what I want to do. Okay, what the character want? He wants to discover something authentic. That is what he wants. And where is the story happening? Mumbai, a metropolitan city. What is the problem? He's not getting any opportunities, and also he's not creating any opportunities. I mean, he's trying harder. Uh, and how could he get that? Maybe by putting a lot of efforts, or maybe changing his life, the way he sees things, maybe by connecting or something. He's not that commercial kind of a person who's like constantly like has an hassle of getting opportunity. He's not that. He's a kind of a reserved person.
Yeah.
Most probably after the play, he doesn't needs the actors and everything and says good things about them. Is that he just takes the play and goes, oh, this is what it is. Am I like, have I missed any question?
No, you
Yeah.
haven't. But I saw a parallel between your and the first person story is both of you are like, okay, this is where I am, and maybe we need to do something which you
Yeah.
don't know yet about. I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to get there, but I don't know
Yeah.
what to do to get there. Right?
Yeah.
Which is what in storytelling in a script is called an inciting incident. What
It's
makes
like,
the character take action? Right?
okay.
That is why this exercise was important, because we suddenly see a gap in the story. Because right now, maybe I can form connections, or maybe I can find something, but right now the
Yeah.
character doesn't know what. So that
Correct.
confusion is a part of who the character is. So when we're
Correct.
writing the story, moving out of it, now look at your life, look at Rishikesh as a character. Now you are not Rishikesh. Okay,
Okay.
what exactly should Rishikesh do? Break it down, not right now. I'm saying when you go back after this workshop, break it down to 5 single steps. This, I need to reach out to this particular group, person, community to help me get this. Like you'll break down your goals, you'll break down. Similarly, you have to do that in storytelling. You do it for your story and you do that for story for your characters. Break down what they want. What they want can be, okay, if I say I want to be famous, that's not a goal. Famous is a periphery, right? I want to be rich. But how? What do I want to be famous for? How do I want to earn my money? Right? So you have to narrow it down. Keep narrowing it down until you have a very specific goal for your character and for yourself as well. Like I said, this is going to be a life skills workshop as well. You will, by the end of it, you'll be very clear of what you want in your life and how to get it. Okay, I'll take one more. Vayu Dhwani's, yeah, her hand is raised. And the others who have written, we will come back to this. There's a follow-up of this. Yes, go ahead.
Roopal. So I had a very strong connection to my inner child story that came up spontaneously since you said we should do this.
Yeah.
So it was about a girl who always aspired to pursue dancing as a career. It was a dream to audition for one of the biggest programs that were very popular in India, and her quest became to be there.
Right.
And it comes from a very small, conventional family. They have a very orthodox pattern where, dancing is obviously a taboo. It's not even considered a career, forget a hobby or something. So
Yeah.
the whole adventure starts how she tries to pursue it or convince her family to, approve the idea that she wants to audition for it. And there are so many challenges she faces where they don't allow her to do it. And she sneaks out of her school or, with her friends' help, she gets through to
Yeah.
somehow learn and practice and do things.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a typical teenage drama story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she almost gets there, hiding it from her parents to be at the audition, and she also does it. But
Right.
when she comes back, the adventure twist is where they find out, and it's not a very pleasant moment where all she thought was she's finally ready to get her wings out to fly and be where she wants to, but
Yeah.
she goes through abuse. And she goes on a very terrible backflip where it injures her body, and that is where she feels her dream just comes crashing down. And
Wow.
the dream of dancing is completely gone forever because your body is a tool.
Yeah.
And the whole journey to come back is the conflict is where she it's not just about getting to dance again, where
Yeah.
she's to stand up on her feet and dance, but it's a whole journey to rediscover herself.
Wow, that's brilliant. I'm sorry, is this a real story or have you added fictional elements to a dream?
Kind of a real story.
Please write this story. It's very powerful. It's a complete story, right? There's a character who is the character, what do they want is very clear, and they almost get it and it's snatched away from them. I think that's a brilliant storytelling device, right? Put your character through the worst situations. I'm sorry, I'm talking of it as a character and I don't know if it's real, but
I think
that was how you have to look at it.
told me to actually write this film.
Yeah. Please write this story. It's very nice. I hope you write this story and bring it out into the world. Okay, great. This was wonderful sharing. I'm very glad that 3 people shared. I hope in the next exercise, 3 different people will share. We'll come to that. I'll continue to share my screen again. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So just as an addition to this, I've added this, I saw this post, it was very nice, that want is plot and need is theme. Whatever your character wants is the plot of the story. The plot literally means the events that lead up to the destination, to the final ending of the story. And the need of the story is the theme. What does your character actually need? She needs to rediscover herself. So coming of age, rediscovery, finding your strength within, like in the last story, right? Discovering a purpose all over again. All of those are themes. Now, structure, of course, since we've already have examples, 3 beautiful examples of characters and stories, we need to understand the beginning, middle, and end of any story. And right now I'm speaking in very general, long form story terms. We will come to brand storytelling as well, and we'll apply all these rules to that as well, okay? So bear with me. So the beginning of the story is basically about exposition, like it says. Exposition is where you tell who the character, what do they want, you define it right at the beginning. The middle is, like it says, conflict, rising action, it reaches the climax, falling action, and conclusion. Of course, this can happen twice, like in Vayudhwani's story. There's rising action. She almost gets her dream. It's taken away from her, and then that's literally the first half of the story. And the second half of the story, that would be the interval point where her body breaks and everything, right? And then second half is finding that purpose all over again. That is the second half of the story, post-interval. So that is very, very important. Now, what is most important, I feel, is knowing what is the end of your story. Before you start a story, it's important to know the ending of your story. And I always call it like how you go on a holiday, you define your destination first. That's the first thing. I want to go to Japan, or I want to go to Manali, whatever, right? That's the first thing. And then you plot out your travel, your itinerary backwards, right? So always, whatever you begin, whether it's for a brand, what is your final, what do you want to achieve by the end of the story? And that is extremely important to know. It might change by the time you write the story and arrive at the ending, that ending will change. But to know where the story is headed is always the easiest way to plot out a story. You don't have to bind yourself to the ending, but start with an ending. Know where your story, otherwise you can meander throughout. So it's always easier to ground your story saying, okay, this is the point where I want my story to end. Vayudhwani's story could have ended if this girl had reached, say, a reality dance store and khatam. वो story khatam हो गई. वो भाग के निकली, उसने practice की, एक show में गई या कोई हुआ, and that is the peak. It could have ended, but that's only the false ending. There is a second ending to that story, right? So make sure you know where your story is going to be. Coming back to the sharing. Next, of course, point of view of the story is very important. We'll do another exercise now after I explain to this. Who is telling the story? Have you all seen Gone Girl? I don't know how many of you have seen the film Gone Girl. But there, the first half of the story is literally the point of view of the woman telling the story, where we start blaming the man for everything that has happened, who's almost accused of murdering his wife. And we believe the story because we get the diary of the woman. We hear her voice saying, this is what he did to me. And the second half of this narrative completely switches, where we now start seeing the reality of when the case starts getting to solve. We realize that the woman is actually punishing the husband for infidelity and plotting her own murder so that he gets accused and goes to jail. And suddenly the narrative shifts. So who is telling the story? There are two multiple points of view here. Talwar, of course, is a very popular, based on a real incident, which even in public, nobody, we were hearing different versions of that story. Nobody knew what was real or not. And this film explores the multiple points of view that exist in a story. So the most important question, once you have an idea, once you have a story to tell, the most important to ask is, whose story is this anyway? So what I will do is now, I'll pick up one of the most popular texts, Ramayana. Everybody knows the story of Ramayana by and large. Mota mota sabko pata na, you don't have to get into the details of it, right? Now, if I were to ask you, and please raise hands in this, what is the story of Ramayana? Can someone tell me in one line? Anyone raise your hand? What is the story of Ramayana? Yes, Ratul.
Yeah, I think the story is Prince gets exiled, wife gets abducted, Prince rescues wife back to country.
Yeah, okay. That is Mota. But do you know the point of view in this story? Whose point of view is it?
It's from the point of view of Ram.
Okay. It's from the point of view of
Yeah, actually it's from the point of view of Valmiki, who's
correct.
watching.
Valmiki is the third person narrator who is narrating a story about a prince in Ayodhya whose wife gets abducted and he goes on a war with the villain. Thanks, Ratul. Now, if you were to write this story from Ram's point of view, I want you to quickly write down in one line, Ram is telling this story. Valmiki is not. Ram is telling this story. Write his version in one line, and don't think too much. It's just an exercise do this raise hand thing on digitally, right? Whatever you do on Zoom. I don't know where to find that. Huh? Once you're done with Ram, just do that. Someone's written accepting whatever comes wholeheartedly. I want you to write the story in one line. Ram is saying, मैं हूँ, and keep the last exercise ka questions in mind. Who is the protagonist? I am. If I am Ram, I am the protagonist. Who am I? I am the Prince of Ayodhya. What do I want? Answer those questions in that one line. What do I want? How do I want it? What is stopping me from getting it? How do I go about it? Has everyone written Ram ka story? And I'm just picking up this religious text because it's one of the most popular stories. Like we all know it. So please do not get offended or anything by. This is just an exercise in storytelling, nothing else. Okay, Ram ka ho gaya. Raise your hands. Now write this story from the point of view of Lakshman. Lakshman is the protagonist now. Same question. I am Lakshman. Who am I? What do I want? What is stopping me from getting it? And how do I go about getting it? Abhi hum where and when we are not answering, we are keeping them where they were in those ancient times. If you're done, just put your hand up. One word may, so that you know. Done with Lakshman? Of course, now you have to write the story from Raman's point of view. I'm Ravan. What do I want? And I want someone to read this once they're done. So raise your hand. Anyone done? Ratul's done. Anyone else? Prakash. Okay, Ratul, do you want to read first? Then we'll go with Prakash.
Yeah, so I am Ram, the Prince of Ayodhya. My job is to rescue my wife. The conflict is that I am abducted, and how do I achieve it is by finding an army to get her back.
What is the problem? What is stopping you from achieving what you want?
That she's abducted by the king of another state.
That is not the problem. He knows that.
Oh, that he doesn't have an army is the problem.
He doesn't have an army is the problem. And how does he go about it? He builds an army and and builds a bridge and all of that. Okay, Lakshman's point of view.
So Lakshman, what do I want? I am Lakshman, Prince of Ayodhya. What do I want? I want my brother to be happy. What is the conflict in that? Is that sister-in-law is abducted, and what is my goal? To help my brother in his journey.
Great. Prakash, you want to read Lakshman's again? You're on mute.
Yeah. So, like the Lakshman, I am Lakshman, and he loves and respects his brother. So, like, he went to exile with Bhaiya and Bhabhi, helped brother to get away Sita Mata. And the conflict was there were so many difficulties in getting the army and building the army, but somehow with the help of Hanumana and his Sena, he
okay.
built and back.
Got it. And Ravan's, have you written Ravan's story?
Yeah.
Tell me Ravan's story.
I would be Ravan. If I am Ravan, I want to kill Lakshman because he insulted my sister and want to kill Ram to get Sita.
Okay. And
because people believe Ram as a the conflict is a kind of he has to, he has to fight against Ram, because Ram has been, has been considered as a some sort of avatar of Bhagwan, which he knows later
Correct.
on. Has to, get the army and everything to fight against just a
He's a
simple man
strong
in his
opponent.
eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he's a strong opponent, and that will be his conflict. Surbi, do you want to read Lakshman?
Right.
I'm still looking for something for Lakshman, which I have not got. Surbi? Is Surbi there? Okay, anyway. One last thing. Now I want you to write this from the point of view of Sita. राम, लक्ष्मण और रावण के मोटिवेशंस बहुत क्लियर है. मुझे कोई सीता का मोटिवेशन बता दो इस कहानी में. और बाय द वे, लक्ष्मण अगर ये कहानी बताएगा तो वो अपनी संजीवनी बूटी विल बी द हीरो पीस इन दैट स्टोरी. That, oh my God, I almost died for my brother, right? Matlab, in Ram's story or in Valmiki's story, that's one incident. But if Lakshman is saying, he's going to be glorifying that story and saying, this is what happened to me. Because that's what we do. In our own stories, we are the biggest heroes. And whatever happens to us is the biggest thing. तो राम की लड़ाई गई भाड़ में, सीता का जो अबडक्शन हुआ वो हुआ, बट मैं मरने वाला था. किसी ने ध्यान दिया? कोई सोच भी रहा था मेरे बारे में, so that point of view will always come in. So सीता का अगर हो गया है तो हाथ उठाइए. Parul, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I am Sita, and my motivation and my thing in life is to be with Ram, who is my husband, and being this husband devoted wife, I just want to be with him and to support him throughout. But the conflict arises when she has to leave, when she is abducted and is away from his husband, and that time her motivation changes into revenge and get back to his husband again. And again, in the end, one more conflict arises when, yes, there is one more conflict when she has to go away from Ram again, when the whole city is against her, and Ram has to take a decision in the favor of city because he's the king. So duty comes first.
What is stopping Sita from being with her husband is her own husband, right?
Because she is supporting, yes.
Yeah, because he wants to live up to a certain ideal of a king. Whether he's
Yes.
wrong or right is not our business to judge, but that is what he felt was right in that moment, and he took a decision. Avinash, you want to go ahead with Sita's story?
Roopal, actually, I raised hand for Lakshman's POV. It
Go
was
ahead. Tell me,
yeah,
Lakshman.
in my story, like Lakshman would have a guilt in his heart because it was his duty to save Sita when Ram had gone out to kill the Hiran.
Yeah.
And then he could not do it, and he had gone back, and because of him Sita got abducted, and he is getting that guilt in his heart, and he wants to do something for his brother and sister-in-law, and then he tries his best, though he is not in the pictures right in front, like you said. He tries to get Sanjeevani booty and all stuff, but it is more to do with he is in guilt and he wants to do something, but still the story
That's
wins.
a brilliant story there. A character ridden with guilt of not being able to fulfill the one duty he was given. So he goes all out to save, to rescue Sita, and in the process, he almost dies. And
Yep.
what if this character almost also believes that I deserve this? I deserve to do, be
And
this.
he's ready to do anything to achieve that.
Yeah, but there's also a sort of martyr complex. Suddenly that comes in, कि मैं मरने को भी तैयार हूँ. And then Hanuman, of course, we haven't gone through Hanuman's story. That will be a different point of view. But Hanuman gets the Sanjeevani booty and gives him. He becomes the character in his life who comes and helps him and says, no, you don't deserve to die. You don't need to be guilty. Things had to happen the way they did. So all of this story comes in very beautifully. If we give this guilt, who is this character? That is why it's important to know who is this character, right? Who is Sita? Who is Lakshman? Who is Ram? And once we go into any story, always ask, whether it's a brand story, whether it's an ad you're watching, whether it's a film, whether it's a book you're reading, who is telling the story? Because it will be colored with who they are, right? Even in news is also very important, especially in today's day and times. Who is telling the story in media, correct? Who has the power to tell the story? Who has access to tell the story? If we look at history, all of history has been written by rulers who were in power. Yes? We don't know anything about the common man did not have access to writing history. So if Akbar was writing history, he would write about himself and all the great that he did. We did not know what common man was feeling, the pulse of the common man at that time. Right? Similarly, whichever government will decide what the story, what the narrative of the time would be. So always be aware and mindful of who is telling the story. This is a brilliant exercise. I hope you guys had fun. I love the answers. We'll go to the next part of it because I wanted to cover a little more. So we know point of view is important in a story, and we'll take all of this forward as we move. We've arrived at part 2 of our section, and that's called brand storytelling. Obviously, in any kind of brand storytelling, we need to know what we are selling, right? The first thing is product or a service. I've written product here. It could be a service as well. It could be an idea that you are selling. So like I worked for this digital tech platform called Kewaliya, which was started by Welspun in 2019. And it was a startup, and we were building a community, a platform for women, especially in their 30s, who drop out of a workforce. And can you just stop those hand things that you are sharing? Otherwise it'll be confusing later. Yeah. And we had to build this platform bring together these women and to find how to make them continue in the workforce, right? To make them relevant for the workforce and to make them continue. So that was what we were trying to sell. We were also selling an idea that is possible to come back to a workforce. So what are you selling? Product. What, how, why, when. Now, product is very similar to your protagonist in a story. Who is your protagonist? You need to know everything about them. Similarly, if it's a product you're selling, you need to know everything about your product, right? What is the product? Why is this product needed? What is the USP of this product, right? Why is it needed? If I am, agar namak bech rahi hu main, to mera namak dusre namak se better kyun hai, right? So that USP has to be decided. When is it being launched? That's more informational, of course, and that where it will be in this market. And how are you going to be launching it? And why is this product needed at this day and time? Why is it so important for you? How will it change your life? So all of that you have to know about a product, just as you would know about a protagonist, who they are, what do they want, why do they want it, what is stopping them from achieving similar questions. The next, in case of brand storytelling, is of course the target audience. That is the most important thing, right? Who are you designing this product for? The product has already been designed, but who are you selling this product to? Design has been kept in a certain mind, but as marketers or as storytellers, who are you selling this product to? If it's for children, it'll automatically change the language of it. If it's for mothers, it will change. If it's for older people, say healthcare facility for some sort of an older person, then suddenly it changes. What is also relevant to know in a target audience is where they can be found. In this day and age, when earlier it was just print and TV, right? Newspaper mein ad aati thi aur aapke TV mein aati thi, magazine mein ad aati thi. Abhi we have multiple platforms. Which platform will be our target audience on? And to figure that out is half the battle won, right? Abhi Facebook started with being very young. Now it's all older people on Facebook, and the younger then at that time moved to Insta. Now in Instagram pe wo Facebook wale bhi aa gaye hai. So now Instagram is also full of older people. And when I say old, unfortunately in advertising, anyone over 35 is old. I don't consider myself old. I am over 35, but anyway, that's what advertising will target me as, older people. Even OTT platforms, you won't believe, when we are writing, they are targeting from 15 to 35 years of age. Beyond that, I don't think anybody exists. All the your major markets are 15 to 35 because they have the buying power, the maximum buying power. So which platform are if it's youngsters, I think the last I heard, a lot of them, Snapchat is of course there, but there's Discord. There must be other platforms where they can be found. So how do we target them? And of course, if it's children, then what kind of channels, TV channels or YouTube channels that we can target them on? Now, the last part is, of course, which for me is the most important part, is what are the company values? How, the ethics, the morality, the point of view again, that you take as a brand, whichever brand you pick up, how is this important? And we'll go into the details of this. But what I want you to do now as an exercise is imagine a product. Any product, it can be a fantasy thing, it can be irrelevant. It does not need to be of this world also. Add an element of fantasy to it, right? Find your target audience. So you could literally be designing a product for ghosts, I don't care, or for aliens, I don't know, right? And you have to answer these above questions. What is this product? Why do this particular target audience, of course, need it? What is it about? What is the USP? And find your target audience. Just these 4 questions. Can we do that?
Can you repeat the questions?
Yeah, the question is, imagine a product that either exists or doesn't exist. That's okay. That's up. I'll leave that up to you because we can't spend too much time thinking about it. What is this product, and what is the USP of this product? Why do we need it? And define a target audience for that product. What is something that, let me just put it like that. If you want to answer this question, you can answer this also. If I'm designing a product for ghosts, what would they need the most? What would a ghost need, right? Or for aliens? 2 things. Pick either of these 2, design a product for ghosts or alien. I will narrow down your target audience. So now you don't have to think so wide. Yahan pe aa jao. Design a product for ghosts or aliens. And no judgment. Let it be wild. I know there's very little time. We just want to do it as an exercise. And I hope newer people speak this time. Oh, sorry, you do not understand Hindi. I'm sorry, I will stick to English. Okay, Nishma is done. Brilliant. Tell me, Nishma.
Yeah, so my product is blood packets.
Sorry?
Okay.
What is it?
Blood packets.
Blood packets.
Blood packets.
Okay.
My target audience is the vampire. It's from the Tooth Fairies. I got inspired from that.
Okay.
And considering value is we don't kill animals or harm any humans. So we try to create synthetic blood with multiple nutritious value in it. So, it's nutritious for the vampire and no killing, no harming, no injury to anybody.
Vegan blood.
Yeah.
Nice.
Vegan blood, yeah.
Very nice. Okay, Rishikesh, you want to go? Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, my product is an application to see human. It's for ghosts. Ghosts are making this. Is to see human. I mean, they can access anything. Yeah, anything like a Zoom meeting or something like that. Okay. And my target audience is gods, evils, different planets, aliens, everyone. And the USP is you can access everything, their thought, their thinking, their action, even their bedrooms. Why do we need it? Why do ghosts need it? To update, learn, and be careful.
Okay, nice. Very nice. I love that app idea. Divesh, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So I have planned a dating app for ghost.
Oh, lovely.
My target audience will be Dracula.
Okay.
And our USP will be you can get many varieties of zombies, monsters, and all.
Okay.
And our USP also will be there's no one other who can provide service like us to get a match.
Listen, this is a brilliant plot you have written. Please write it out as a story. I would love to read
and
something.
Also, the name would be Zinger.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Please write this as a story, Divyesh. Expand karo isko. Kaun hai Dracula? Bichara Dracula, usko date nahi mil rahi hai. And then this app comes along. It's very cool. Very, very cool. Great. Debrati, you want to go ahead next?
Yeah, hi. So can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
My product is a bed sheet because
Okay.
books needs bed sheets, and it is marketed as the whitest of the whitest bed sheets to scare whoever you want to scare.
Yeah.
And why do you need it? Because you are tired of your same old bed sheets. So if you are tired of your cotton bed sheets, you can get your silk or rayon. It's winter, but you still need to go to work, scare
Yeah.
people. You get like a woolen bed sheet.
Yeah.
And we have collaborated with Pantone to get different whites. So
Yeah.
in case you're tired of your, ashy white, you can get
Wala safed.
yeah, any kind of fades that you
Nice.
want.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, your name is Vedya? Bharg, I don't know.
My name is Bark. So basically, yeah, I have an idea for the real live person. So basically, what I thought that there is a app with the animations. So collect the all previous memories and all that things to in order to maintain the authorities and their qualities for our ancestors.
Right.
So whenever we want to talk, we can directly connect to them after they passed away, right?
Oh.
So
Okay.
if I want to connect with my grandfather right now, so I
Right.
can connect with him and I can ask any question regarding any issues or anything that is not happening with me
I
or
love this. It's giving me goosebumps. You should write this. Please listen. You have so many ideas we got. I hope you all go back and write these stories. You found this idea. Go back and write these stories, expand it, and apply everything that we've discussed on it, right? Bharg, will you write this?
Yeah, I have written this and I am developing the story and I have
Brilliant.
connecting with the all developers and all that things to go ahead with this project.
Awesome. I would love to see this story.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll come back to the rest in the next exercise. I'm sure you have more exciting products. And some have written here also. Aliens, Hardik has written earbuds with built-in language translator. Earth is the product name, and USP is one size fits all. I like that. Very cool. Okay, so we will go to our next step because this clearly you all did very well in this exercise. Brilliant. I wish I had some toffees to give you all. I don't have all of that. But coming back to the product, target audience, company values. For me, like I said, the most important thing is company values. What I mean by that is when we decide who the brand is or what the brand is, who the product is, which company is selling it, what are the ethical, where does that company stand in today's day and age, right? What is your company culture? What are your company values? And how do you define them? Do you all remember White Hat Junior? Everybody remembers? I don't know if you all were targeted, but as a parent, I have a 10-year-old and I remember that at that time there was very aggressive marketing by White Hat.
Yes, Roopal.
Yeah, and they were targeting
Aggressive,
aggressive marketing, and they were inducing a lot of fear among parents. I think one of the early ads that I had read was वो अब निकल गई ad मिल नहीं रही थी Google पे because they were asked to take it down later. But it was very fear-based advertising as well. It said आपका बच्चा पीछे आपका बच्चा आपकी तरह पीछे रह जाएगा, something like that, which basically as a parent, I'll be, oh shit, I was behind in school and my child should not be. So let me put my 6-year-old in a coding class. It literally said something like that. The ones I have shared here are, where the one with Bill Gates says, Bill Gates wrote his first computer program at age 13, led the world with Microsoft. 1 hour free coding class, your kid will become an entrepreneur this lockdown. So they were asked to take all of this down because they were making claims that they could not fulfill. Right? Very recently, Zara did an ad campaign around what is happening in Israel and Palestine, right? And it literally used dead bodies as backdrop and created a whole ad campaign, which was extremely distasteful, right? Whether you are on the side of Israel, whether you're on the side of Palestine, that's not the point. Point is to use something like a tragedy, human deaths, to use it as a prop for your fashion shoot is extremely, it's really lowbrow, right? So I started thinking about कि ऐसा कौन सा है which product really needs to induce fear in order for you to buy that product. And the topmost thing that came to me was life insurance, right? Life insurance ads literally work on fear. They will tell you, you're going to die. Aren't you afraid you're going to die and people are left behind you? You better buy, cover them, protect them buy this insurance and protect them. And it literally operates on that. And I have rarely seen a life insurance ad that is, you cannot talk about a life insurance ad which is positive, because you have to imagine your death in order to buy a life insurance policy, right? So I found this very interesting campaign. There's a life insurance company called, can you see this bestow thing on the side? So one of them says, your kids love you. Having life insurance proves it's mutual. It's literally saying if you don't buy life insurance, you don't love your kids. The other one says, get life insurance before your one-upping brother gets the chance to two-up you. So it's totally going for that, your jugular vein and saying your brother will be better at it than you. It's like harping on sibling rivalry. The next one says, we won't tell your kids you don't have life insurance unless they can read. Then we just did. We just told them. So there's a lot of humor here, but there's also a lot of fear-based thing. And I think whenever you go on that journey, right, of creating any kind of story, whether it's for a film, whether it's for a book, whether it's for a brand, whatever you're telling, what are your ethics, first of all? Where does your morality lie in all of it? What is something that you would do and you would never do in storytelling? And what is the brand's storytelling? Will you align with a brand like Zara and tell that story for them if you are getting paid a lot of money to do that? I'm not judging. I'm not saying there's any right or wrong. I'm saying you need to know yourself in order to understand where you will be and what kind of story would you tell. The thing about White Hat Junior was all of its aggressive marketing actually worked in a brilliant way. They got humongous sign-ups for even their 6-year-old kids were enrolled for their coding classes, where they could not live up to that promise, and which is where it all shut down, and it wasn't very good. The teachers weren't good, and all of that didn't work out. But the advertising worked. Now it's up to us to decide whether will I be a part of something like that, even if they are paying me so much money, right? Same for Zara. Something very similar that's come up, say Animal, the film, which has polarized so many people, right? Some people are saying, no, we should be able to tell these films. Other people are like, no, but look at the context in the film. There's so much misogyny, sexism, and it's even unfair to men because of the kind of male idea of man it's projecting, right? So there are a lot of polarized opinions. Truth is, there's no right and wrong. We are living in times where everything exists, and it's up to us what to choose and what to tell, right? So whenever, and we will do another exercise pretty soon where will have to answer this question whether or not you would do something like that. But before that, I want you to write a life insurance, sell a life insurance to yourself. I'm assuming most of you are single. If you are not, imagine yourself as single, with no responsibilities except to figure out, okay, what should I do next in my life, in my career? Maybe, and trust me, that is something you'll ask yourself for a very long time. For the rest of your life, you'll keep asking that question. But just imagine yourself as the target audience for a life insurance ad. Sell it to yourself. In what world, and let's say you are a 25-year-old person. Let's fix your average age at 25. Okay, all of you. Imagine yourself as a 25-year-old person. In what world will a 25-year-old need life insurance? So answer that question for yourself. What will you use? What will be your modus operandi? How will you go ahead targeting a 25-year-old person and convince them to buy life insurance? I don't need like a specific idea. It can be how you'll approach, figure out a platform you will go to, what will be your language of this ad, because what we just saw were if you normally see life insurance ads, they're usually family, and they are very emotional, कि देखो आप मर जाओगे, लेकिन तुम्हारे साथ नहीं, जो तुम्हारे पीछे रह जाएगा, someone will be left behind you. Sorry, I keep switching to Hindi. I'll stick to English. But someone will be left behind, and you need to protect them. So it's very emotional and all of that. I just want you to try and switch that narrative. If you were to sell it to a happy, bubbly 25-year-old person who does not right now have any responsibilities, how would you sell it? Any ideas would do. These can just be ideas. You don't really need to write it also. If you have something running in your head, we can discuss. Hands up for that. You want to write, you can write also. Yes, Shashi.
So I'm sorry, but I want to give answer to the previous question.
Which was the, I forgot what was the previous question.
That we have to sell a product to ghost or aliens.
Oh, okay. We'll come back to that. Let's stick to the life insurance since we moved on from the ghost and alien thing. You can put your answer here in the chat for the ghost thing.
Okay, so no, it is just a two-line answer. So
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my audience are the ghost, and the product I'm going to sell is the human skin, because their costume is kept inside the wardrobe, and from the wardrobe I mean the coffins.
Okay, okay, I love that. Very nice.
That's all.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for sharing. Anyone on the life insurance thing? Any ideas? It can be very vague. And I just want you to sort of rack your brains to thinking, why will a 25-year-old buy life insurance? Let's answer that question. Tell me. Why will a 25-year-old? Any possibilities you see?
Because he drinks and smokes on a very regular basis. He's an
Okay,
addict.
then should we sell him health insurance? Because life insurance is not for you, right? Life insurance is for people who are left behind you. So what would be the motivation for a 25-year-old to buy? Yes, Bharat?
Because heart attack rates are increasing nowadays.
Okay.
So at any age, people can die. So it is required the life insurance from any age, at the any age. So if 15 years old can buy a life insurance to save his or her life.
Okay. Avinash?
Yeah, in my story, there are two 25-year-old sitting in the cafe, and they're discussing that the best chick in the college is dating some person. They were not thinking that it would ever happen. The other guy suggests that that he has got a life insurance of X crore of amount, and that is probably the reason she's dating him.
Okay. Okay. So you want to make it desirable that if you already have life insurance in college itself, then you land the
You're
hottest.
bankable.
Yeah, you're bankable and you land the hottest chick. And it's true, like life insurance is usually targeted at men. It's strangely and surprisingly not targeted at women, even though there are a lot of women in the workforce. It's still men are considered to be the primary earners. Anyone else? Pooja, you want to say?
If I may.
Please, go ahead. Yeah.
Just thinking out of the box that, life insurance is something which is seen as very after the death and this and that. So I feel takeaway could be, why not celebrate life? Like people behind you, why not celebrate you and your life?
Yeah. That's nice. That's a lovely approach. Yeah, we can definitely figure
Instead
something
of,
out.
getting that fear tagged in, hidden fear, so to say, that, everybody knows life insurance, but will not speak it out. So the fear is there, after me. So why think that after me, it should be celebration of your life?
Correct. That's brilliant. I love that. Very nice. Ye to ban gayi ad. Ashish, you want to take a shot at it?
Yeah, so a huge billboard saying #LifePartnerAlert और नीचे कॉपी है रणवीर को तो उसकी दीपिका मिल गई, आपको अपनी दीपिका से मिलना है कि नहीं?
Oh, so it's about landing a girl basically.
Yeah. Like if you are very
only way to target men. Come on, men are more evolved than that also.
That sells.
Sorry?
That sells always.
That sells. Yeah, that's why Animal also got made, because it sells. And even Zara would sell. Yes, Vayudhwani, tell me.
So I think it's usually at 25, most of the people have this hardcore FOMO issue. So they just trigger the fact so that you don't miss out on sharing your experiences on Instagram like everybody else. So
Yeah.
that's why, you start investing in yourself at first, at an early stage. So you have the experiences so you can share it to the world. Because if everybody's so highly influenced on sharing their experiences in, be it a holiday or be it going to a fancy place at a restaurant or whatever they want to spend on themselves. Because as you said, which I like literally kind of caught spot on, that even for advertising, your common audience age group is only like till 30 or 35. So these are the people who have the spending power. So they are the ones always investing in experiences. So
True.
I think Instagram, as you said, is highly, influential right now. So they don't miss out on sharing their show-offs of experiences that they want to have. So that's where I would trigger it at 25.
I love that. All the ideas were great. So why you focus on FOMO? FOMO is such a it's such a thing, right? Especially when you're under peer pressure, everyone's onto it. Let me also get onto this car. I love what Ashish and Avinash said. Desiring something, right? It's a desirable idea to have a life insurance because you will get the girl that you want. And at 25, and that is something on top of your mind, to get the guy that you want, to get the girl that you want. That is literally, apart from your work life, that is literally parallel to it. Nishma, one last answer we'll quickly take. Yeah.
Okay, it's very weird. I'm trying to connect it. So this age group is more just come out of college. They like achievement, merit listing. So why not we associate life insurance as a gold medal? So the young crowd wants a gold medal. So it's more like a medal you achieve and keep it. It's like you use it later on. It's up to you, but it's like an achievement and a sense of what do you call? Yeah,
We got
merit.
4 different points of view, and 25-year-olds don't even need life insurance. But I think if agents start early, that's a great way to back them, right? To celebrate life, like Pooja said, to make it an achievement, to make FOMO, or to desire an ideal partner or life itself. Great, awesome. Going forward, so I had just sort of, what I found on the internet quickly was this, selling life insurance early. So this says, tonight I'm going to kill you in your sleep. It's literally a fear-based thing. This one says, before you say that about my mama, you better have life insurance. Then of course you got an insurance for your car, but no life insurance for you and your family. Again, fear-based. And of course, the literal advantages of 5 reasons to buy life insurance. Young is because your premium is going to be really small. These are facts, right? It helps you build your cash value. Ideal investment strategy to protect dependents in the future, because at 25 you're thinking a lot also about your future, that okay, like I'll get this girl, I will get married or not, whatever, but I will still have parents to take care of, all of that. And increases discount level other insurance policies, and your family future is secure. So all valid reasons, but I loved what you all said. Those are my favorites. Now we come to a very interesting point. I think I want you all to turn into influencer marketers by the end of this workshop. Influence marketing is something so big in this day and age. So what happens when you yourself are the brand? I don't know if a lot of people here have thought about starting their own video, say blogs on YouTube or on Instagram, your own page, selling yourself as a brand, who you are. If you are interested in fashion, if you're interested in news, if you're interested in, say, finance, risks, investment, whatever you want to discuss, and you want to help people sort of get that knowledge, anything, you want to start your own page. And right now, maybe you don't know, you want to be there. I want to be an influencer, but I don't know of what. How can I influence, right? So this particular section now will help you figure out. What I want you to do now is treat yourself as the brand. You are the product. Okay, again, we come back to a very initial exercise that you are the protagonist. Okay, who are you, which we've already done in some part of it. But now I want you to go a little bit in detail. What are your likes? What are the things that you like, right? 3 top things. Dislikes, 3 top things. Interests. What are your interests? What are the things that interest you? What are the things that trigger you? So just write these keywords quickly: like, dislike, interest, trigger. Things that you passionately love. Just excuse me for 1 second. Someone at the door. Why don't you note down these top words that I have written in this? Know yourself well. Yeah. So what are the things you passionately love? And I mean passionately love, right? Not just, okay, yeah, I love to dream. Nahin, it can't be vague, right? What are the things you passionately love and passionately hate? That is equally important. You don't have to answer all of these, but try and answer most of these. What are your inspirations? Who are the people that inspire you? Who are the people you are jealous of? Something that I have not written here. I have found jealousy to be actually one of the key motivators in life. Who are you jealous of? You don't have to name the person. What I mean is, what are the parts that you're jealous of in someone? And there's no need to be ashamed of that feeling. It's a very core human emotion. Let's feel it fully. And cringe. We see so much on social media which makes us cringe. Oh my God, I'd never do something like that, right? What makes you do this? You. What nonsense. It could be, I don't know, some celebrity in a very weird wardrobe where she's revealing it all. That makes you cringe, or that excites you. Either way. And one last thing, what you would never ever do. Once, I want only one answer. What would you never do to achieve your goals? How passionate you are about it? Start writing this. I think we're running a little bit late. Rishikesh, are you done, or is that hand pelega?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, we'll just give others at least a minute more, maybe. And I want you to do this exercise after this, okay? Because right now you're doing it at a very cursory level. Go back and answer these questions. I'm telling you, it's very rewarding. It's a rewarding exercise to do in your own personal life. A lot of your ideas and goals will get cleared. And keep doing this at the end of every year, because you keep changing as a person. I do that end of every year. Okay, I think 2 people are done. Parul, you want to go ahead?
Yes, sure. So I'm gonna be brutally honest. Okay. So the thing that I love the most is animals and sort of mindful living. That's what I really love, and that's one of the goal that I live by. So life that is zero waste and very in harmony with everybody who we share our planet with. The thing that I hate most is that other people are not really aware of it. Even if they are aware of it, they will still do anything that comes to them easily, you know. And at the same time, I'm jealous of the fact that they are not even, they are considerate enough and they are living, without giving a thought. So it's somewhere,
that's not jealous, that's
I'm
anger.
stuck in somewhere. Sort of. But I
Angry.
want
You're
to be
angry.
like them because I don't want to feel all those emotions.
Right.
Yes, I don't want to feel all those emotions. So
And
yeah.
what is something you would never ever do, even if, like you're getting paid a lot of money to do it? What is something you would never ever do?
For example, endorsing KFC.
Okay. Okay, great. So that's a great. So do you have a page already? Social media?
Not page, but I have like a decent amount of followers, and whenever I can, I always post and share about my experiences about animals and rescuing them and everything.
Right. So your entire page is about, say, nature, eco-friendly initiatives, animals, of course, like you said, and you can build a whole identity around that, right? You still have to go deeper and answer. One, you have answered that you are angry about the fact that people don't do, which gives you purpose that, okay, if I want to start my page, I want to make sure I make people not just aware, but bring them to a call of action. Right? It's not just awareness. Like you said, people know about all this, but how do I bring them to action? So can I organize a drive? Can I organize donations? Can I organize a beach cleaning initiative? Right? Whatever. It's just off the top of my head. So that could be the purpose of your page as and when you plan to do that. Yes, Rishikesh, tell me.
So what I like is artistic approach in for everything. What I dislike is commercials in every stream. My interest is to discover something new into the art. What triggers me is new kind of a writing. The recently I saw liberal arts. There's a movie called Liberal Arts, which I felt was great. What I love is theater, cinema, art. From whom I get inspired is the artist. I hate people from the past who are also actors and uh, my friends. One thing I would never do is to sell myself and become an influencer on Instagram.
Okay, when you say what did you say? Hate things from your past.
Yeah, the people from my past.
Why is that?
I don't know, but I mean, I hate them. I mean, I see a lot
I
of
love how honest you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate a lot of people from my past. I just needed to,
Yeah.
like, why hate them means what? Hate is a very.
I mean, it's not because of them. It's just because of me. The way I behaved with them, I'm not able to face them right now. That's the reason I hate them. I be away from them.
Oh, okay, so you're distancing yourself from them. You
Yeah.
don't really hate them. It's
Yeah.
sounding more like the hatred is directed towards you, but you are projecting it outside, right?
Yeah.
And I think from your previous answers and from now, and what I gathered is there is a slight aversion to money. There's a slight aversion to, I don't want to make this commercial. I don't want it to be all about earning money. Why can't we just make, which is a valid opinion to have. But I would like you to explore that feeling. Why are you so averse to money? I want you to go back after this workshop, explore your relationship with wealth.
Thank you.
And why am I feeling like this? I was exactly the same 5-6 years ago. I think, oh, everything is about commercial and money. And then I keep wondering, oh, why are people not paying me for the work that I am doing? And then I had to go deeper into understanding, okay, I am averse to money. I'm literally rejecting money without realizing it. Right? So you need to, whenever you answer these questions, go deeper into it. See a pattern. I noticed a pattern in Rishikesh's from his previous answer also was about that, right? To create, and your artistic, by the way, Rishikesh, I want you to go further. What do you mean by artistic explorations? That is a very vague term. Define it for yourself. What does it mean? Why do I want it? Keep answering that why for yourself, and you will arrive somewhere very interesting. Yes, Vayudhwani, go ahead. No, wait, sorry. I'll go with Ruchika because she hasn't spoken at all. Yeah. Hi, Ruchika.
Hi, hello.
Go ahead.
So I like to eat food.
Okay.
I like to fight for issues. I am a social worker, so I am a lot. I like to fight for issues, and I am an animal lover. I don't like almonds. I don't like apolitical people.
Okay.
I think gender and development interests me a lot. What triggers me is patriarchy, and most of the times it's a lot of triggering, a lot more triggering than usual nowadays. I love to travel. I love to know people and their stories. I think women leaders inspire me, and also smart people inspire me. But I've come to a realization that I'm jealous of smart people more than they inspire me. So I'm trying to lessen it down. And
Don't lessen it down. Take it to its extreme. Be more jealous. Why is this smart person making me jealous? Because they're making me feel less, right? Without their doing anything to me, they are making me feel lesser than who I am. So what do I do that I reach where they are? There are two ways to approach jealousy. Now, one is pulling down someone and saying, you come to my level. The other one is raising yourself to that other person's level, right? There are two ways to approach this. So if we approach jealousy in a very matter-of-fact way, oh shit, this person just made me feel extremely insecure, even though they were most wonderful to me. And we've all felt that in some context, right? But that's about me. It's not about that person. You don't have to reduce that feeling. You have to understand it. What about this smart person is making me feel lesser? Do I need to make myself more aware, or am I already aware, but I have a lack of confidence? So you know, like maybe in suddenly if I'm stuck in a public situation, I won't be able to answer this question like that person would. So who am I? So you need to basically go deeper into this question and understand the more, because what I clearly see is a page at the intersection of gender and politics, right? And how it impacts the world around us, or how it impacts us. And there are lovely pages on Instagram, social media around that, right? So you definitely want to have a voice. All you need to do is find the confidence to arrive at it. That confidence comes by accepting where do I need to work on. Maybe I've already worked on this and I just need to put my work out there and see how people are responding, right? So from your conversation, I feel you're already there, but somewhere inside you're feeling maybe this won't be accepted. So the only way to find out is take action. Your protagonist, which is you, needs to take action in the journey, right? That's your next step. Take action, create a page or create an idea and put it out and see how people respond to it, right? Okay, I take Nishtha. Nishtha hasn't spoken. Yes, Nishtha.
Hi. So my likes are cats, cuddles, and curiosity.
Right.
My dislikes are procrastination, skipping meals, and people being mean to each other. Interests are eating new cuisines, traveling places alone, and solitude. Trigger is jealousy. It triggers me a lot. Then there's talks about marriage and relationships that trigger me, and sometimes jokes also, because jokes always come with that intention, that rootedness in reality. So yeah. And what I would never do is take unfair advantage of people, hurt old or poor people, and not be there for people when they need me.
Got it.
And my passions are writing, poetry, and music.
Right.
Like,
So I
yeah.
see a foodie, I see a traveler, I see a writer, a poet, and I see you being on that, like you said, solo travel. That is a very niche thing. That is something you can totally work on. What I didn't understand, you said trigger is jealousy, like you being jealous or someone else being jealous of you.
No, I am being jealous. Other people being jealous is often, you take it as a compliment at times.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah.
jealous of?
I mean, sometimes people being more generous than you are, and you sometimes, being protective of your space while other people are completely open. And at times, two people are working at the same level, but one is achieving more than the other. So stuff like that.
Comparisons, which is a very
Yeah. Comparisons. Yeah.
I need you to go deeper into it, Nishta, because I see, why I'm talking about it sounds like a slight therapy session in a cursory way, but it's important because if you don't know yourself, the stories you tell will not be authentic. It's important, and I place great emphasis on it. You need to know yourself better. Where do you stand? What is your politics? Someone said they hate apolitical people, and that is right. Why does that trigger you so much? Because you have the privilege of being apolitical. Do not be apolitical, right? Be political, make a stand, be informed. Nobody is judging you here. When I'm asking you what you would never do, and it's I'll never take unfair advantage of people. I am saying it's okay to take advantage of people. That's not something I subscribe to, but if you feel to get ahead, it's okay. That's who you are. You need to be able to sleep with yourself at night. If you're okay with that, nobody is stopping you, right? This is not a judgment call. This is just a way to know yourself better and be honest with yourself in these questions. Now we can go on with this exercise. I'll stop it right here because there's more things I'll discuss. But what I mean to show you through this is be honest when you're answering to yourself. Nobody is going to see this. Go back today, रात को इसको चाहे फाड़ देना लिखने के बाद, right? Tear it apart. Maybe I want to go with one last Subramanian's this thing, and then we will end it. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I love the most is watching movies.
Okay.
And what I passionately love is teaching, public speaking, and advocacy for rights of children and women.
Okay.
And what I passionately hate is inequality and oppression.
Okay.
And what triggers me is sexist and misogynistic behavior. And what I would never do is discrimination. And who I am jealous of or is Ali Abdal. He's a YouTuber, writer, and he does a lot of things that I wish I could do as well. He has a great team.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So see, I love what jealousy brings us for us. When we know we are jealous, we know this is what we want to do. This is what we really want to be. And treat jealousy like that. Treat anger like that. When I get angered by a social media post, oh my God, what is this person? That anger is about me, not about what someone else is posting. What is that anger bringing up in me? It's bringing up passion. I'm feeling very passionately for certain things. So go back and question yourself. Find out more about yourself. And I'll just continue on this because we have a lot to cover and there's not much time. So, like I said, know yourself well, position yourself in the market. What is your USP? Is it humor? Are you going to be adding humor to your very serious political conversations, right? That could make you stand out in a very serious world right now. Or are you providing some sort of knowledge? Are you providing information? If you're starting a page on, say, animal rescue, maybe this is the place you bring them to. If you are somewhere in this area, you can reach out. These are the animal shelters around you, those kind of things, right? And of course, target audience. You need to know what do you want from your page or from your, what do you want to achieve? Are those followers? Followers you can achieve by myriads of ways, right? You want to have knowledge, expertise on something, and you want to be known for a certain area, whether it's women's rights, whether it's finance advice. The third is brand endorsements. Are you looking to get brand endorsements? If you're a fashion influencer, or if you are a mom, right, a mom of a toddler, then are you looking for more brand endorsements so you get freebies from brands? Whatever it is that you want to achieve, that will define your page, the tonality of it and all of it. I love this pyramid that goes in. It starts with the bottom of the pyramid is I know it. So this is something I know, and that is where I begin. I narrow it down to, okay, I like it. I know a lot of things, but this is the area I like. And then I love it, which is where passion comes in, right? And the topmost is I live it. Someone here mentioned that they live in an eco-friendly way. They live, everything about their life is literally about how to be in alignment with nature, in alignment with how we are living our everyday lives. So that is how you form your pyramid, right? Topmost kya hai? I'm living the life, whatever I'm projecting on social media. That's the most authentic way. You can stop at I love it also, right? You can also create a page based on I love it. Or even I like it. But the more niche you are, the more chances you have of finding the right audience. And that is your pyramid of influence, as it's called. I'll go to the next page now, where we'll now have to quickly talk about digital marketing, since there's not much time. So digital marketing, obviously, as we know, is something that we have to be absolutely aware of in this day and age. There is no escape. If you think that you can be a storyteller in an ad agency or in a company or wherever without understanding digital marketing, then I'm sorry, you need to go back and at least be aware. I'm not saying you have to be experts at digital marketing if that is not an area of interest, but you need to be aware of how it works. The first thing is something we've already covered is emotional storytelling. We already know if you know yourself well, you'll be able to sell your story better. If you know your brand well, you'll be able to sell their story better. If you know your protagonist well, you'll be able to sell that story better. So emotional storytelling is at the core of anything without fail. You appeal to the emotionality of the person you are selling it to. The next thing, which is the key thing in digital marketing, is that there's data. Now, data can be very, very boring to look at. If you understand, one second, I'll just stop sharing. Yeah. Are any of you into digital marketing here? Or maybe briefly understood or studied it? So if you don't know, sometimes digital marketing can be very daunting because you look at the data and you don't understand the numbers. If you go and see YouTube pe agar aapko ad banana hai, you have to create an ad on YouTube, you have to create an ad on Instagram. And if you go into those tools, Google marketing tools and all of that, you will suddenly be very overwhelmed. And you will be intimidated by all of that data that it throws at you. These are the views your ad got, how to create an ad, how to create a bucket of audiences where you can target those ads. The beauty about digital marketing is you can target exactly the kind of customer that you want. That is the power of digital marketing, right? And data tells a story. You have to find the story within data. That is when you'll fall in love with numbers. You'll fall in love with data whenever you're doing digital marketing, is because data tells you where to find your customers, right? It is telling you which platforms are your customers on. Where are they hanging right now, right? Which ads are they clicking? And what are the search engines that they are using, and what keywords are they putting in those search engines to find? I'm a mom of a 10-year-old. I need music classes around me, right? And I type, what do I type in Google? Music classes for 10-year-olds near me, right? That can be a broad keyword for me. Now, if you are a person providing that service, you know exactly who to target, right? In this area, and you will know that I am in this area. So data will tell you a story about this person. It will tell you who your protagonist is, because the thing about digital marketing is you are not, your brand, your product, your service is not the hero. The person you're targeting, you have to make them the hero of your life. So when you see my habits on internet, which is what data gives you, where am I hanging? I'm looking for a music class for my child. And you start creating persona out of it. Okay, this person lives in Mumbai, in this and this neighborhood. They are looking for a music class. They have a 10-year-old, which means what? That I can be targeted for other things as well, which a 10-year-old might need, which a mom might need, right? If they find out I'm, some sort of I'm a single mom, right? If they say I'm a single mom, then they could possibly target dating apps for single people, divorced people, or widowers, or whatever, that kind of something like that. Or if you need a community for single moms, why don't you sign up for this? So suddenly you have created a persona. What would I need is something you guess that, okay, this is my age. If I have a 10-year-old, roughly my age, I'll be in my 30s or, early 40s, if whatever, that kind of a thing. So you start creating a story about your protagonist. Once you have your persona, you find other people like me and replicate that, which is how you create buckets in any digital marketing ad. And I'm not getting into details because that's something you do in a digital marketing course, but I'm just familiarizing you with how it works. Once you create a bucket of audiences, you can target these ads repeatedly at these people, right? And say this, keep throwing until I click on the page. When the action, there's an actionable thing saying, click here if you want this. I click and I reach a landing page. That landing page is again storytelling and design. What is that landing page telling me? Music class near you. This is where, this is the sign up, this is the fees, all the information is given, and I sign up and my job is done, right? So digital marketing, the biggest thing is conversion. How are you converting someone who you're throwing an ad to someone, and how are you converting that ad to a final person when you're making them take out money and buy your product? That is the aim of digital marketing, right? But there's also storytelling involved at multiple levels in it. So all that we have learned right now, you'll be able to use that once you start understanding how digital marketing works. Don't be daunted by data. Data is just numbers, figures, telling you a story about the person you're targeting. Look at it like that, and suddenly it will become very interesting. So like I said, it tells a story. Where are your customers? What are they looking for? And how can you fill the gap? And like I said, customer is the hero. How can your product make your customer awesome? If you sign up for this music class, your child is going to be, oh my God, the next A.R. Rahman, which is what White Hat Jr. was doing. They used Bill Gates, they used Sundar Pichai's pictures as if they were endorsing White Hat Jr. when they were not, but they used their pictures and their quotes. So it was a very manipulative way of doing it, but they got they achieved the results with that. And of course, you have to build a company culture, again, trusting the brand and living up to the promise or commitment, which comes later. So all of it is the same, but digital marketing will be about, like I said, look at data as your friend and not as your enemy, or as something you're daunted by, or something you ignore and say, no, I am a creator. I will not look at digital marketing. Go ahead and sign up for a shorter course or a longer course or whatever is available at you, and make sure you sort of get that knowledge. It's important to understand how it works in today's day and time. I don't know why I stopped sharing. Yeah. And of course, we just come to a final leg. Questions. what we can now do is take questions on whatever we have done so far, or beyond this about my work. I'm happy to share stories about my work if you want to understand anything. Or yeah, anything in general, except my personal life. Everything is up for question.
Yeah, guys, please go ahead and ask questions.
Let's quickly do it because I think we're running out of time. I wanted
One
to.
of the participants earlier had asked a question which I also wanted to ask
What is it?
about non-fiction writing.
Yeah.
So I'm into academia.
Hmm.
I'm a researcher in law. So I'm also into publishing articles, research papers, and since I have a film background as well, so I've done film technology earlier, and then I switched over to law. So I would like to know how we can use, uh, the fictional writing techniques in non-fiction to make it more appealing and readable.
So the first thing, what are you writing about? Your non-fiction is also obviously catering to a particular subject, which is niche, right? And you have to arrive at that niche. What exactly are you talking about?
Women and children mainly.
Say women and children, but women and children is so broad. What about women and children? What aspect of women and children's life interests you? When you pick that, when you keep narrowing, make that pyramid, right? What is it about? And keep going. What about this interests me? The moment you arrive at that pinnacle of that pyramid, you know that subject itself is the protagonist. Then you need to know everything about that subject. Are you picking up one particular case and explaining and giving an exposition through that? Right? Let's say we are talking about the garbage situation in Mumbai. Now, that's a very wide thing. Am I taking it through a specific case? If it's a documentary I'm making, the best kind of documentaries are the ones where you pick up a single case out of that who's affected, who's impacted by that, and follow their journey. Because human interest is something that will always be required in your storytelling. Right? That is the way you can make maximum impact. So if I have to tell, then I will pick up, say, a child who lives in the slums who picks garbage for living. Suddenly I have human interest, and not just human. I've suddenly shown this very vulnerable protagonist who now I'm interested in that. Oh my God, I'm already appealing it. Such a small child has to do something like that to live a life. And I'm following this child's journey. That's it. I enter into a non-fiction. I'm talking about, say, if you're making a documentary film, right? It's always best to go through a journey, one protagonist journey, or pick up 2 or 3 cases and you follow their journeys, right? Similarly, when you're talking about non-fiction writing, you can write about the subject and inform people, but if you do not mention emotional impact of your journey, it will not be palatable. So you have to make it palatable. To make it palatable, pick up individual cases. Find people who are impacted by the subject that you've picked up. And that becomes the protagonist. And then you follow the rest as we discussed.
And yeah, one more thing which you spoke about in your one of your slides, want is plot and need is theme. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So plot is, like I said, a series of events that happen in a script, right? In a film, in a story, whatever. That are this is what my protagonist, they say, I'll pick up Vayu's story, and can I call you Vayu? I hope. Yeah. So she said that she wants to dance, right? But now how is she achieving that dance dream of hers? Is by doing this. That becomes a plot. That is something she wants. What does she need? But what happens is she gets it, and the dream gets lost, and she rediscovers herself. But what is her need? From the store, from her own life, her need is to rediscover herself, to find that strength which is inside of her, not outside of her, which is what she taps into eventually. That becomes the theme: rediscovery, rejuvenation, finding yourself in this world, which is a question you all should ask yourself. There's a difference. What do I want and what do I need? That will also define who you are as an individual. Sometimes we think we want this, but we actually need something else in life, right? Which will help us reach our wants faster. So have that distinction between the two things. Yourself, and you will understand how to apply it to a narrative. Yes, Gigi.
Hi. Hi. I have a question. This is with regards to training your mind to write small narrative stories, or is there any exercise that you could recommend?
Any-
Because I've failed multiple times. All enthusiastic, write few, and then forget about it. Half of it is there, the other half is. Primarily, I'm not part of any group where. Back in the US, there are these groups where people just join and then we again meet after half an hour with the stories that you've written. There isn't anything like this, and therefore I've lost the knack.
Already answered your question. The answers in your question. You just said that you were a part of group, and that's something that's a lot of groups exist in India as well. I don't know which part of the country you're in, but now there are a lot of online groups also where you keep a tab on. Let's do this together, a community thing, because you need sometimes an accountability partner. You tell me, let's just achieve to write 1 page today, not more than that, but at least a page. So the next question is, if at any point of life, if you're feeling there's nothing here, what do I do? The next question should be, can I start something like that, right? Why don't you start a community, gather some people and see if it works for you, even if it's one more friend, even if it's one more person you want to do it with. So please go ahead and do that. Apart from that, your first question was exercises in doing it. There is no other way to be a writer than to show up to be a writer every single day. Yeah, writing, we always say this in our writer circles, writing is not your mistress. It has to be your wife. It has to be a long life commitment, and there is no divorcing it, right? There is no out of it. Whether you hate it, whether you love it, you stick to it. And you have to, the only way to train your mind is to do it in small steps. Like, don't be daunted by the task, oh, I have to write a book. No, you don't. You have to write 20 words. Just to understand, Gigi, did you do any of the exercises that we did today in class?
Yes, did all of them.
You did all of them, right? How did you do it? Because you found some external motivation to do it. You signed up for this class, and that's great. That already shows your passion and your need for doing something like this. Now, when we do not get that passion from external forces, we need to create it from within ourselves. Unfortunately, if you find nothing else, then you have to go within yourself. That is why I did the exercise of who are you? Know yourself better. Don't tell me that, and I have done that too. Okay, so whatever I am saying is I'm speaking from experience. I've crossed this many times in my life. If I am saying I can't do this, or I don't know, or I need someone else to do it, no, you don't. You have to do it yourself. Wake up, sit down, just write 1 paragraph. Do not attempt to write a page. Write 1 line. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, write 1 line. And in the next 100 days, you will have 100 lines. Because the beauty, and even if those are trashy lines, I promise you, it's easier to work on trashy 100 lines than to work on a blank page after 100 days. Right? Build it slow. 1 line every day. It's doable. There are no excuses. Just 1 line or 2 lines. If you're in the mood, okay, let me write 2 lines. Let me write 5 today. And next day, okay, I'm not getting an idea. It's okay. Write 1 line, leave it. Give yourself 100 days to write a short story. Yeah? What is happening? It's better than doing nothing. Right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of books, of course, right, on, I'm so bad at remembering all these names, but I can share the resources maybe with the Miami Ad School team, and they can share on your email IDs or something like that.
Thank you. I also like to add, it was an excellent session. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. Yes, Nishma.
Yeah, hi. So, my concern or query is, out of your years of experience, especially when you have to sell a product to a wider, clientele. Okay, so be it like, subject, like it's global boundary. So, you have to be particular about the race, all these things, like whom we are targeting, like the gender, not to offend anybody. Okay, so though when we are writing a story, okay, so what factors to keep in mind to keep away these unconscious and unintentional bias? Because when we are writing a story, especially this, I'm telling from product, like from my personal field perspective. So we design e-learning programs for corporates. Okay, so that's why, like, based on the influence of Netflix and storytelling, it's transferred to e-learning. So the companies demand everything that we do. Modules have to be story based. Okay, but then, if it's a US client, we have to be very specific about the racism. If we are about talking about Indian clients, again, there'll be a set of another list. But even I've seen when we are writing stories, these unintentional and unconscious bias do come in play. So, something that we can be mindful
That is
of.
why I said it's essential to know yourself. I keep coming back to that. Who would imagine that corporate storytelling requires you to be, like you said, unconscious of biases? Know yourself, right? When you know yourself, you automatically, you inform yourself. Because when I know myself and I say, oh, I saw this LGBTQ, I saw this trans person on this, and that they triggered me so much, right? Now, triggering a trans person is being who they are, and you are getting triggered as being who you are. I'm not calling for any judgment here, right? Does the LGBTQ world trigger you, right? If you're looking at someone on social media expressing their full LGBTQ self in all their glory, does that trigger you? You need to go back and question, why is this triggering me, right? Again, don't judge yourself. Be kind to yourself, because you are coming from a place, you are coming from a certain kind of conditioning that you have grown up with. Same for racism, same for casteism, same for gender, misogyny, sexism, all of that. Like, it's true for all of us. Women are also misogynist, right? Women are also sexist. Why? Because we've also grown up in a patriarchal culture. So a lot of times we look at a woman, oh my God, why is she posting bikini pictures on Instagram? What is there to, why? And then you question yourself, why the hell am I triggered by someone else expressing themselves so openly? Because I can't open myself so freely. That is what is triggering me, that I don't have the freedom to do what they are doing. So before, I think all trolls on social media should be doing this questioning. But the truth is, when something triggers us, we need to go back and question ourselves. That is where the unconscious biases go away, right? That is where we are informed and we are conscious of, okay, I may be biased. This may be my bias, but it should not come in my storytelling. That's also possible, by the way, that I will continue to be biased. But as long as I am aware, like how our dadis were in that time, right? Agar aapke ghar pe koi kaam wali ka glass alag hai, cup alag hai, right? Like, it's a different cup you use for them, or a different glass you offer them to have water. What is that? That's casteism. That's not okay at all. That's classism and casteism, right? That is not a good habit to have. But when I'm writing a story, if I'm aware, as if I'm the grandmother and I'm aware, oh my God, I do this, let me not put this in the story. Let me be more inclusive in this world, because that is not the idea that I want to put out. Before I rise up in an ideal world and say, oh, there are no biases. That will take some time. So I hope I answered that question.
Yeah. And your workshop was amazing.
There is one question, Roopal.
Yes,
Bhard Vaidya asked that how to pitch in for an idea or script to a producer.
I'm also figuring it out. Okay. Because getting meetings itself is different. So I have an agent. I have got myself an agent. There are agents for these sort of things now who can get you into meetings. Again, I know myself. I have explored myself, and I know that I'm not the kind of person who would go out and network with people and be out. Also, I'm a single parent. I do not have time to network with people, right? I have a 10-year-old to take care of. I have to do my writing. I have to do all the jobs. Where is the time to meet people? So I've got an agent to do that for me. Get me the meetings, put me in those rooms, and then I will sell myself. So you do that. When you can't do it yourself, find out help. Reach out to people who can help you. Getting an agent might also be another process. But of course, that is the topmost way to do it. Second, build your network. Try and hang out physically if you can at events and places where you can get an invite to, whether it's films. Don't badger people who are there and producers who are there, but try and write emails. Sometimes people do answer, especially the smaller production houses. They do tend to answer and will give you a year if they are looking for ideas. And don't send your ideas without, just ask for a meeting first. Don't just send it in an email. This is what I have written. Please give me a meeting. Don't do that. You're not protecting yourself then. Okay?
Then there is a question from Mihir who says that I'd like to hear your thoughts on Joram's story. While I appreciated the cinematography of the film, the narrative fell short for me. So it left me wondering who the protagonist is and whose perspective we should experience the story from. So it feels as if we are watching a short film that had been hastily extended into a feature film. Am I missing something? And also, it was an excellent and thought-provoking session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think I have a feeling you're asking these questions of yourself rather than from me, because if I tell you, then that's my perspective of who I think the protagonist is. See, for me, obviously the protagonist is Manoj Bajpayee, who is trying to survive. It's a survival story at the end of the day. That is what I got from the film when I was watching it. But at the same time, the characters around are so interesting that it's very easy to go into their narratives. And that is the beauty of the film, I felt, that I am also empathizing with Smita Tambe's character, you know, who has lost her son, and the revenge motivation is revenge. I'm not saying that she's justified or whatever, right or wrong, it doesn't matter, but I am feeling for her. And that is the beauty of the writing in that film and making that film, that I'm feeling for the antagonist as much as I'm feeling for the protagonist. And that kind of what the film is trying to show is ultimately we are all a part of the same system, and this system is working on us in very difficult ways, right? It's asking us to reach out to that core and say the system is functioning in like this. It's the system that's rotten, not people. So people who are acting according to the system or reacting to the system is not what we should be focusing on. We need to fix the conditions we live in. That is what the filmmaker is trying to say in my point of view. I hope I answered your question. Yes, Prakash.
Questions?
Yes, Prakash.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally people think if you can write, they think you can write for films, you can write a book, you can write a short story, you can write an ad. So I just want to know, like, is it correct, or like you have to be a niche, you know, in writing a certain formats? I mean, if you can write a book, it's not necessary you can write a film. If you can write a film, it's not necessary you can write a short film. If you can write a short film, it's not necessary you can write a documentary or something. And I mean, likewise. So I just wanted to know about that.
Again, know yourself. Who are you? What do you want to do, right? What are your likes and interests? So the first thing for me, the first step was it was easiest to write a book. I wrote the book. This was literally one of the first things that came out into the world for me. I've written for television for 8 years. Back 10 years ago, which was when Channel V used to have a fiction channel. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've written for Humse Live, Dil Dosti Dance, all the top shows on Channel V at that time. And so I've written for TV, I've written for OTT, I have written a feature film, I have written short stories, I have written for ads. I know as an individual, give me any medium. I've written for radio also. Give me any medium and I will write. But that's who I am. Not every writer has to follow that path.
Different from person to person.
Yeah,
Right.
it depends from person to person. What do you get most attracted to? But I also feel you can train your mind into doing certain things as well. If you are a good storyteller, that is why I started with the idea of broad storytelling, which you can apply to any format. It does not, it will just change in the way we are approaching.
Again, it's like knowing the basics, and then you need to, you know, build your thing on that.
Yeah, and the more you practice in different media, it's not rocket science. I feel everyone can write for everything. That's one. That's
so
one
much.
personal thing, but you choose for yourself. It's absolutely fine not to write for multiple media and say, no, this is the only, I only write for social media. I only write for Instagram. Some people are brilliant at creating memes. Oh, I forgot to, yeah, I had one whole section on memes. There was a, meme. Some people are excellent at that, right?
Because, you know, it's sometimes very different to tell your thing just in, I mean, for ads. If you talk about ads, you need to give a tagline. If you are a
And ads
subjective
are,
writer, it's very
it's
tough to-
storytelling in 10-15 seconds to storytelling in 2 hours. Or obviously the training is different,
Right.
and you have to train your mind differently, and your practice changes, right? It's very, very different. And a lot of people find it difficult to shift from a medium. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done. Yes, Subramanian, please go ahead. No, you've already asked.
Thank you so much.
Wait. Sorry, you already asked. Divesh.
Hi. So I'm a freelance graphic designer. I recently started content creation on Instagram. But the problem I'm facing is perfection monster, and comparing myself with other. And I'm also introvert, so it's hard to get on camera and speak about it. So how to deal with it?
First of all, I laud your courage to show your face on camera and say that it's difficult while you are saying it. So you've already crossed one level. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're a very courageous person. Second, of course, I understand I am an introvert. You would not realize it while I've conducted this 2-hour session, and you would never think I'm an introvert. But after this session, I will need 5 hours of downtime just to recover and recharge. I usually do that. When I meet too many people, I can't. I have to go back. I meet people once a month, literally, and go back. Yeah, I need to recharge my batteries. I don't need to be around so many people. It takes a lot of energy for me to be around people. I love people, but like not so frequently. I'm not a party person and I'm very happy solo. So it's absolutely okay to be an introvert, but I have also overcome my introversion in public situations. Right? How to overcome that. And that's also a journey you go through, which slowly comes to you. Like I'm 40 now, yeah. At 20, I wasn't this person. At 25, I wasn't this person. It's taken me literally that time to overcome all of these little things. As and when confidence comes, as and when you know, okay, your voice matters and your voice has a place in this world, that slowly the wheels turn. So one, be kind to yourself. There's a whole very long journey. Keep putting out your work. Because when I wrote this book, I wrote it in 2015. For 3 years, I did not send it to a publisher because I was like, I've written, now I don't want I do. But deep down, I was actually scared and I wasn't admitting to myself. I didn't want to be rejected by a publisher because there's another book I had written before this, which was rejected. And for no reason, it was like, no, we need a female protagonist. Very random reasons I was getting. And so I didn't send this. It took me 3 years to find the courage to bring it out into the world. Then also I self-published it. I didn't go to I was, I am this person, I'll do it myself. I'm that kind of, I don't need anyone. I've always operated, but that's not true. We need each other. We need a lot of people to bring out one piece of creation out into the world. So many people are behind this. I have written it, yes, but just to bring it out into the world, so many people work towards it. Don't be afraid of sharing your work. Be okay with rejection. Do not take it personally. That is my biggest learning in life. Do not take anything personally. Whether it's rejection from your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, whether it's rejection from your boss or a job, whether it's rejection from people, social media, do not take it personally. It's not about you. That's why I say it's about them. The person who's rejecting you right now, they're not in a frame of mind to accept you. So when I sent my first book, I thought I've written a brilliant book. They, why are they rejecting me? And I felt like I'm not a good writer. So I don't want to send another book to them. And then later I realized, no, I still love that story and I'll bring it out. It's just that it did not fill their mandate. That year they wanted female protagonists and I had a male protagonist. That's all. Sometimes it's as basic as that. I don't have to take it personally and say, oh shit, I'm a horrible writer. It's not true. You're a great designer. Even if you're not, you will arrive at that and you're always evolving. So keep testing your work. Keep putting it out there. And introvert is just, don't label yourself, I'm an introvert. And no, so what? Introverts have the richest minds. They have the richest creative minds. Not to take away anything from extroverts, sorry, but I'm just trying to boost Devesh's confidence right now. So don't take it personally. Yeah, Devesh. So don't label yourself as anything. You are nothing. Just say to yourself, I'm nothing. So if I'm nothing, who would I be in this world? Then I can be anything. Go with that mindset every day on your page, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem. Parul.
Hi. So again, my question is, one thing that I understood from this session is, for storytelling, we need to understand conflict, characters, and climax. But one thing, me being a brand com student cannot really apply this into the short forms of ads. For example, digital ads, and if only it's CPCV, only then the consumer will be stuck and see the ads to the till the end, and all the call to actions happens during the climax. So how do we actually create a captivating story and get them hooked into the with the ad, like in the initial seconds only? So is there a way or method to keep it creative and captivating?
Always is. So all of what you said, it applies. You are saying it doesn't apply, it does apply. You have to create a good ad, first of all. That is basic. Forget about making it reach the audience. You have to tell a good story. That is the basic of any ad, right? Now you have to figure out, now when I say beginning, middle, end, I said the middle could be end and end could be beginning, right? What if you start with the ending? What if you know that you have only 5 seconds to capture this person's mind? Let's say a YouTube ad, before you do skip ad, how much time do I have to capture this person's attention? 5 seconds. So I immediately inform, agar koi ad shuru ho rahi hai, I skip ad, I don't even know what the product is, yeah. So don't create that, now. Start with something. That's why if you see all the YouTube content creators, what do? They quickly spell out within the first 10 seconds of their video, this is what we are going to discuss. Or if you see popular videos, they'll have a snippet. The most popular snippet from their entire 10-minute video right at the beginning, so that, okay, you watch more or you go to the next part. Similarly for ads, capture the attention in the 5 seconds. You could have, who says that you need to have a call to action only in the end? Keep it right from the beginning and say, this is, I launched Cornucopia Pictures last year, which is the children's content platform. And on YouTube, that's what we did. We knew we had 5 seconds. So we said, India's #1 platform for children. Click here, cinema for children. Click here to know more. And then we would start with the rest of the ad. So if I am a parent who's already looking for meaningful content, then I will watch the rest of the ad. But if I don't need it only, then why will I, anyway, that ad does not work for me. Then you have targeted the wrong audience, right? If I have by chance landed on that page and I'm like looking for something I don't know. Oh, okay, India's #1, I don't really need it. I don't have kids, but let me see what it is. And then I click on it just out of curiosity. So you may get some of them. But ultimately, with digital marketing, you're actually targeting people who need your product. So if your call to action is not working, then you need to re-examine the personas you have built, the target audience you're trying to reach, and how you're trying to reach them. All of that will have to be questioned.
So a follow-up question regarding that only. For example, if we are doing some awareness campaign for, again, it's a very broader target audience that we are reaching out to. In that case, for example, take animals. A lot of people who are into all of this, they start with, showing, graphic pictures of animals, and there's a lot of things that we like, there's a lot of trigger things going on, and people would skip it. Like me myself being an animal activist, I would skip it because I cannot see it. So how to
so you put
target a
yourself in
story
that
for that?
position. You said you love animals. What would make you click? That is how we tell the story. When I'm writing a story, I'm writing for myself. What would make me listen to this story? If I'm writing a feature film, does this even interest me? Does this scene that I am writing, does this interest me as a viewer? When I see it on screen, I'll be like, kya bakwas likha hai yaar, mera time waste kar diya. Right? So put yourself in that position. You are the audience then. If you are an animal lover and you need to know an ad for call to action, put yourself in that person's place. So a key thing is know yourself and also have empathy. Empathy is a huge, huge booster. If you already have it as an innate sense, you need to develop it further, because putting yourself in your target audience's shoes and understanding what could they be looking for, right? If they are clicking on an animal ad, if they need an activist sort of campaign, are they interested in other things like this? Which means I can find them in those places and target them there. If I'm interested in an activism campaign, perhaps I'm also interested in a beach cleaning thing. Perhaps I'm also interested in eco-friendly. Someone here said, "Na, were you, Parul, did you only say that? The animal thing?"
Yeah.
The eco-friendly whole narrative?
There were other people also, but I
So
started
someone
it.
said now that they love animals also, but they're also, their whole life is about eco-friendly initiatives. So there is, you see an alignment there, right? You see there are two things they're interested in. So you need to know where to find them and build that persona. That just because I love animals, that is not my only personality. Na? Then who am I? I need to know more about my audiences then. I love animals, so maybe I also, then you make a guess, then maybe I also love nature. Maybe I will be a part of a group that is going for nature travel or hiking or something like that. You get that, Parul?
Yes.
It's a longer
Yes,
discussion,
completely.
of course. It's a much longer discussion, but I'm just trying to say, go back. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the target audience. What is your behavior? What is your internet behavior or YouTube behavior or an ad behavior? Are you the person who normally skips ad, or do you go and sit or watch all the ads that come before you arrive at actual content? Right? So examine that behavior and what would attract you the most. Okay,
So
one
again,
sorry, go ahead.
again, that I understood from all of this is, I think, insight again into me. Only then I can build something.
Why do you think I covered that section? You need to know yourself. I consider that a very important part of storytelling. Who are you? First examine that. Forget about getting into someone else's head. Yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
I just have one important question. Sorry to ask again. So, I'm not able to enjoy humor because I'm very conscious about political correctness. In my real life and as well as like trying to write something. So
sorry, what was that?
And I was so. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was saying that I'm not able to enjoy humor because I'm too conscious about political correctness. I used to be I tried to be very politically correct, and that now don't react to people much now. Political correctness is, being a hindrance. So how do I be, both politically correct and also be humorous?
Why do you have to be humorous?
It is because it is more engaging. Humor is very engaging.
Sorry, your voice I can't hear because there's an internet, the connection is not very clear. Could you repeat that?
No, because humor is something that everyone loves and gets
Do
very
you love
easily
humor?
engaged with.
Do you love
Yes, I
humor
do.
in general? What are the kind of films you enjoy? What is the kind of content you enjoy? You just said you can't enjoy content because of political correctness, humorous content. But if you were to look at the kind of films you have enjoyed over the past, are those funny films?
Yes, they are.
But you
No, the thing is, when I get into when I get into a discussion about a certain film, I'm not able to. There are progressive films with incorrect statements or incorrect comments in them, which I think political correctness is not. It is very subjective. I'm not sure if it is an objective way to look at things. So I'm a bit confused.
So, okay, I'll try and answer this. One thing, humor is not the only way to get through your audiences, right? One of the, you can be very emotional, very serious, and still get to your audience. Again, know yourself. What is your strength there, right? What are you best at telling? Are you best at telling an emotional narrative? Are you best at telling a humorous narrative, like a laugh out loud comedy? Are you best at telling something in between? Right, that is something you get to decide, because what is your voice, and that comes in as you write more, you discover who you are. Second, if political correctness is stopping you from enjoying any kind of comedy, that's okay, that's absolutely fine. Why is there a judgment on that? I don't enjoy content that is politically incorrect. I'm like, why are people laughing at it? But there are sometimes someone cracks a joke and you laugh and you realize, oh shit, this was so politically incorrect and I laughed at it, and that's okay too. It appealed to us, and then we are, but if you, as long as you are aware, you are a sensitive person, right? You are a sensitive person with so much affecting you, and you are wondering how can people laugh about it. One way to look at it is to not be to be bogged down by it, is go out of it and see that humor is also a way to deal with things, right? A lot of times humor is a way to lighten things up, because we are living in such a heavy dark world. So someone cracking a joke on a politically incorrect thing is also their way of understanding the world, right? What is, I always say, what is tragedy? When you're at the center of a story. What is comedy? When you're outside the story. When you can look at something from the outside, that is when you can laugh about it. If I am the one falling on the banana peel, it may not be funny to me, yeah, I hurt my bone. But if I'm the one watching someone fall on the banana peel, oh shit, that was funny, right? I will say that. I laugh at it even if I don't want to. I know it's inappropriate, but oh, they fell, they slipped at my very base emotions. Why do we laugh at Charlie Chaplin's films? They're physical comedy, and he's probably, if someone were to fall so many times, they would not be alive. But we are laughing. It's physical comedy. Comedy helps us release a lot of pent up emotions. And like you said, it's subjective. It is not, political correctness cannot be objective. What I find politically correct may be very different from your political correctness. So I should be able to, I should be allowed to laugh at something which I am okay to laugh at. Right? So I think what you need to eliminate from your thought process right now, that you're judging yourself also while you're judging others. That judgment needs to go away. People deal with situations in myriad ways that we cannot understand. Right? I will tell you, when I was, just a personal example, I was giving birth. I'm literally on the delivery table giving birth, and I'm cracking jokes through the pain, because I felt, oh my God, the nurses are doing so much. I need to ease the atmosphere here because it's so dark. Like it's so heavy. They are poor things. They have to deliver a child, so much burden on them. So I am the one cracking jokes when I should be the one getting all the concern. That is something I discovered about myself much later, that I crack jokes when I am uncomfortable or when I feel, oh my God, there's too much tightness in this room. So just understand that humor is just a way of dealing with a situation also. That's all. The moment you look at it like that, you'll be able to laugh at it. You will also be able to write something that others can laugh at.
Thank you. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are we done? Can we quickly have everyone's faces as far as we can see? I would love to take a picture where we are laughing and not like awkward pictures of me talking which someone must have taken. Thoda sa cameras on kar do just for a picture, please. Then you can all disappear into the darkness of this digital void. Someone taking a picture because I am not. Please, yeah, come on the camera. No, Deepu, Dhanya, Parul, Prithvi, Loit, Nisa, Dimple, Manisha, Dev, Surbi, Ratul. These are the names I can see. Thank you. Please come now quickly. We'll take a picture just for me. Just give me that, yeah. Come quickly. Just turn your cameras on for a single minute and then we can all go back. Thank you, Parul. Anyone else coming? Oh, thanks, Dhanya. So sweet. Anyone else? Aajo yaar. Let this screen at least be full. Okay, maybe we can take this picture. Who's taking? Pooja? Okay.
Yeah.
Smile. Tell us when it's done, huh?
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on a Saturday morning. And special thanks to Roopal for taking this up and, making us glued to our seats. There was not a single second of boredom, I can say so. I had the courage to say so. And it was really, really interesting and interactive and insightful as well. And thank you, people, for joining in. Thank you from Miami at School. We are also launching a boot camp in Bangalore, which is starting from 20th of January, which is on the topic UX design. If you wish to know more, please drop in your email IDs here, or you can reach out to us on the group, share your email ID, and we will share the brochure with you. Yeah, Roopal.
Just one more thing. This is my book. It's on Amazon. It's published by Penguin. It's called The Little Rainmaker. This is only one piece of physical writing that I can hold in my hand and say, please go and explore. If you want to buy, gift it. This is actually for 8+, written for middle grade children, but relevant for everyone. It's about a 10-year-old girl who lives in a world without rain, who has never known rain and doesn't know what it looks like or feels like. Her grandfather is on her deathbed and his last wish is to see rain. So she goes on to make rain for her grandpa, ends up making it for the entire world. That's the story. If you're interested in it, please buy. And I would love to get reviews of this workshop so that what can I do?
Please share your reviews, feedback on the WhatsApp group, and I shall share it with Roopal as well.
I would love it. And it can be anonymous. If you want to bitch, it can be anonymous. It's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. I would love to. Just don't be bitchy. Like, just tell me that this didn't work or this worked. That's all. Yeah. Be kind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Roopal. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening and season's greetings, and wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to come.
Happy New Year.
Thank you all.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.